Hi everyone, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I just come on today to show you a quick tutorial. These are some of the rolled inclusion beads that I did in the other tutorial. And I figured I'd do a few tutorials showing you how to set these in some sort of clay bezel. So today, here's what I've got. We're going to put it in a bezel that looks like lava, or depending on the color you use, could look like maybe some coral. This one I actually may paint. Super fun, super easy, and really quick. And like on these, I've put a bail at the top and the bottom so I can dangle something else from the bottom with my Lindy Stamp Gang Spray thumb. And I even thought about that. Of course, if you spray anything, it's going to sink into all the little divots in the piece, and that would look so awesome. So let me have to do that. Really pretty. And of course I've done these before, but I just figured I'd come give you all a quick idea of how it's done. So the tutorial is actually going to be in the white, just because it's easier for you to see what I'm doing when I'm sculpting in the white as opposed to the black. So this is the only one I had trouble with, and you can see right here where the clay did not stick down to the stone, and more than likely that's because I got it too thin. You want it to stay good and thick like this all the way around if you can. So real simple. I'll be back. Yeah, that should be it. All you'll need is well, here's what I used. I used my stylus. It's a double-ended stylus. Got two different sizes on each end, but you could use you could use a ballpoint pen, a knitting needle, into your paintbrush would work well if you have a small enough paintbrush. Something just to make dimples, with, and a bit of wire. And I'm almost out of wire, so there may be a lull in the tutorials. I'm not sure. Depends on how quick I can find some and how quick I can get it here. I'm almost out of transparent clay anyway, so unless I get a trip to the craft store for my birthday, then it'll be when the weather cools off a little bit more before I can order some more. Love that piece. It really, I like the colors together, the orange and the black. So anyway, you can do it in any color. These are just some stones I brought out to show you beforehand. Take a cabochon. This one was a square stone that I'd done. You could do long pieces like this. This is a companion piece to that one. Same clay. Another piece like that. That's actually what this square one is. It's that before it's all sanded and polished. So, got any questions after the tutorial? Feel free to ask me. I've got so many ideas running through my head right now. It's annoying. Alright, that's it. The tutorial kind of abruptly cuts off, and this is the piece that I was working on, so there it is. So if I didn't get to say it enough times at the end of the tutorial, I'll holler at y'all later. Bye now. Okay. I've got this, it's actually 24 gauge wire. I'm like completely out of wire, chain, just about everything. So I have done this on a video before. Couldn't tell you at the moment which one it is. I've got like it's actually probably a little long. It's about 3 inches. Good 2.5 to 3 inches. I'm using a little longer because this wire is so thin. On wire, the larger the number, the smaller the gauge of wire. So a 20 gauge wire would be quite a bit more substantial than this. So this 24 gauge is a little bit thin, but it's just for tutorial purposes. So I've got it pinched in my round nose pliers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as Bisou Boutique says, cross the legs, and I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to cross again. I'm going to flip it around. I'm watching through the camera, y'all, sorry. And if I die, it's because my battery has died. I mean, if I quit, it's because the battery's died. But I got another one charged, so no worries. Take a peek at it. Right, I've got 3 rounds right there, but because this is thinner wire, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more. Alright. So I've got 4 good rounds. Now, again, I'm going to cross the legs underneath, and then I'm just going to twist until I have this. There is my bail, and then it's got 2 little legs sticking off there. That's what's going to stick out in your clay so that it won't want to pull back out. Almost like a little anchor. So, now, I've got this bit of white clay, and I'm going to add this to the first part of the video, which they're all in black. But to make this easier to see, we're going to do it white this time. And in black, of course, it looks like lava. And when you do it in white, it looks like coral. So, right there, it looks kind of like an egg yolk. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tear. And I want it pretty random. I want some bits a little closer to the stone. I don't really want any peaks like that, but and some bits a little further away. That black clay is a lot firmer. Well, it's the Primo, and this I believe is probably just some Sculpey 3. My daughter-in-law brought this to me, and it was already out of the package, so I don't really know what brand it is. But if I had to assume, it's either regular Sculpey 3, or it could be Fimo, but I'm not sure. Okay, so as you see, we've just wrapped it around the stone. Looks kind of ugly, but that is the start. So what you want to do now is decide this pink stone. I'm sorry, I got Lindy Stamp Gang spray all over me, guys. This pink stone is done with some really old Kato transparent clay that I've got, and as far as I can see, there ain't nothing transparent about it. There's actually glitter in here and fantasy film and all kind of, you can't see none of it. So it's basically a pink and white stone. So what I've got is, let's see, I don't really like this right up here. Tear a little piece. Yeah. So I'm going to add on. No worries. Okay. Because the next bit will completely cover up anything that I... Now what you want to do is decide what you want the top of your stone to be. And I'm thinking I like that right there. So I'm going to flip it around and take my little bail that I made, and I'm going to embed it a little bit in the clay, and then I'm going to grab one of these little pieces that I pulled off here. Make sure it's long enough. There we go. And then I'm going to patch it like that. And I'm going to mash it, mash it, mash it, mash it, mash it. I want to make sure that that anchor that I made is completely embedded in the clay. And again, then I'm just going to sort of feather it out. I just don't want a big ledge there. Okay, so there's what we've got. There's our back and our front. Tool of the day, stylus. Mine is in pretty bad shape. It's got a lot of cracks and stuff around it. One of the ends is loose, but hey, it still works. A ballpoint pen, a knitting needle like I use all the time. I already put it up, I guess. Will work. What you want to start with, it's not necessary to have two different sizes, but my stylus has a larger end and a smaller end. I'm going to start with the larger end, and I'm just going to randomly make some dots. And now I want some of them to go right on the edge. I want some of them to distort the edge a little bit, but give them a good bit of distance between. And that's why I chose to do this one in the white, is because in the black you wouldn't be able to see what I was doing. So I'm just going to continue that all the way around. I'm trying to watch from the side of the camera, I'm sorry. Now truly with coral, what you would do is some of your impressions would be a little bit deeper, but because this is just a bezel around a stone, it's not really that crucial. Now I'm going to take the smaller end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically obliterate all of the detail between those dots, if that makes any sense. And I'll try to show you. Let's say here, in between where the dots are, you want to mash that down, so to speak. Lava itself, this type of lava, is made up of billions of little tiny bubbles. So that's what you're trying to replicate. And if you did want it to really look like coral, just make your bezel a little bit thicker. I went with the thickest setting on my pasta machine, but I definitely could have rolled it out with my with my acrylic roller, and let it be a little thicker. And then I could have gone back randomly and put some bigger, deeper holes. If my husband was here, I probably would have him grab one of my first mermaids I did. He's on a giant coral stand. Okay, let's see if you can see right here where I've got a little bit too much symmetry right there, so I'm just going to stick one in the middle, kind of obliterate that. Oh, don't bump the camera. My tripod's gone wonky, my little mini one. Okay, right there. Let's look back. I don't like that. Just scooch that back off the stone a bit. There we go. There we go. So that's basically it right there for the technique. So your stone is completely encased, so when you bake it, it's in the bezel, so you shouldn't have any problems with it popping out or anything like that. And again, same thing with your bail. It can be straightened up a little bit after it's baked, but there you go. I'll come back at the end with some still pictures of the finished one, and excuse me, I'll try to show the black ones at the beginning, the lava look ones. So it's a real simple tutorial to make a bezel on just a plain stone. Doesn't need a hole, doesn't need just a plain cabochon. And you'll see on the black ones, on the lava ones, that I've got some square pieces, I've got some different shapes. It's really allows you to basically wrap any stone like that. So what I'll do before I throw it in the oven, let's get my knitting needle and put my initials on the back. There we go. So there you go. That's all I've got for you today, folks. I've got a project that I did yesterday that I'll try to get the video up on Monday, I guess. My husband had to work today, but he's off tomorrow, so I'm sure it won't get much done. So, alright. I'll holler at y'all later. Bye now. Oh, first of all, when I put this in the oven, I won't put it on a glass. I don't want it to have that shiny look on the back, so I'll just set it in the polyfill and bake it like that. So I've showed my oven setup before. I'll try to do another video about just the oven setup. I just have a Pyrex dish that I've got polyfill, like you stuff a doll with, 100% polyester fiber. I use it over and over again. I've literally used mine hundreds of times, the same polyfill. I'll lift it up out of the Pyrex dish every once in a while, fluff it back up, dump the glitter out of the bottom of my dish that inevitably accumulates in there, and I'll put it back in there and use it again. And same thing, I've got a sheet of wax paper that I started with that when I first used it, I stuck it in the oven with nothing and let it kind of melt the wax off, and I've been using it ever since. I cover up my Pyrex dish, keep the direct heat off of your stone so you don't get